The biggest race of the Champ Car season came early this year, as the third round of the 2003 Champ Car season was at Long Beach. The biggest topic coming into the race was the continuing dominance of Paul Tracy, who after grabbing back-to-back wins to start the year off, was on the prowl for a third. But for the third race in a row, Tracy would miss out on the pole, as it was the young Michel Jourdain Jr. grabbing the pole position for the race. Tracy would join him on the front row. It was a comparatively disappointing qualifying session for Sébastien Bourdais, who after grabbing 2 pole positions would qualify for Long Beach in a comparatively upsetting 5th. Alex Yoong would be your 19th and last place starter, completing a truly abysmal qualifying performance for the Dale Coyne team, as teammate Joel Mathias wasn't much better, starting in 18th. With some heavy cloud cover in Long Beach, there's a bit of an ominous vibe before the start of the race, but with no issues during the formation laps, it's time to get things underway. The green flag came out, and with a very unorganized start, it was Paul Tracy getting the jump on Michel Jourdain Jr. and taking the lead very early on. The start was somewhat controversial, and there's a bit of debate going on in the booth as to whether it was a smart call to wave the green flag. Debates out of the way, it was a surprisingly clean start, with no drivers in the wall or running into each other. The race was honestly really boring in this stage, with the order remaining practically identical all throughout the field. It's at times like these where I really wonder why I chose this season. I could have gone with the 2003 IRL season, but I chose this instead. Am I a masochist? I don't think so. Did I pick this season just because of the weirdness of it all? Maybe. Am I having an existential crisis right now? What is the meaning of hey, the pit stops are here, with Paul Tracy pulling in a little bit early. This gave the lead to Michel Jourdain Jr. before he too came into the pits. Thanks to a quicker stop for the right-hole driver, he left the pits with the lead. Around the same time, Patrick Lemarié spun it out of the pits, stalling in the process and bringing out the first full-course caution on lap 29. The yellow was brief, as we got back underway on lap 32. Jourdain wasted no time, gunning it as soon as he could and trying to stretch the gap. This would turn out to be an awful restart for the Dale Coyne team, as shortly after Joel Mathias went for a trip into the Turn 8 runoff area, Alex Yoong decided it was time to go home, burying his car into the Turn 1 tires. The yellow came out with this incident, and during the yellow, Mathias had more issues, stopping on track. For maybe the 3rd or 4th time so far this season, Speed Channel missed the ensuing restart. And what a time for them to do it too, because right after the race got back underway, there was another crash. This time it was Rodolfo Levin who hit the wall in Turn 5 and was collected by Roberto Moreno shortly thereafter. It was near disaster for the Walker Racing team, as Levin's teammate Darren Manning nearly got collected himself. Speed Channel nearly missed the ensuing restart. If they did, I probably would have ended the video right there out of protest. Just because we saw it didn't make it interesting though. Seriously, you know a race is boring when Jimmy Vasser going around the outside of Mario Dominguez for 7th drew a strong reaction from the comms crew of Scott Pruitt, Tommy Kendall, and Bob Varsha. The pit stops came back around lap 55, and the different strategies gave us something to talk about. Jourdain and Tracy were the front runners of the drivers at pit around lap 55, while Oriol Servia and Adrian Fernandez were at the front of the drivers that needed to pit around lap 63. After Servia, Fernandez, and Bourdais all led laps, it was Michel Jourdain Jr. back in the lead. The fiery start to Bourdais' season came up again on lap 70, as his motor blew going down the main straightaway. Thankfully for most of the field, Seb could pull off the track and prevent another full course yellow. After this, the focus was on Michel Jourdain Jr. He needed to drive like a bat out of hell to pull the gap he needed before the final pit stop. He needed around 38 seconds to Adrian Fernandez and 4th to be able to pit and come out with the lead again. Even with lap traffic, Jourdain was able to stretch that gap north of 40 seconds. After Paul Tracy came in the lap prior, it was now time for Jourdain to come in too. With 7 laps to go, Jourdain stopped in his box, had a decently quick pit stop, and then his car got stuck in neutral. The man who's in the catbird seat to score his first win was now out of it, and now the fight for the win was between Tracy and Fernandez. Well, I call it a fight, it was more of a parade. They were close, briefly. Fernandez on much older tires didn't have a snowball chance in hell of getting past PT. Besides Oriol Servia running out of gas, pretty much nothing exciting happened after Jourdain's issue. Paul Tracy would score his 3rd win in a row, 4.5 seconds over Adrian Fernandez in 2nd, and Bruno Junqueira in 3rd. Look, I'll be honest, this race just about had everything that could piss me off about a motorsports event. Boring racing, the rightful winner losing out on victory, and a broadcast about as awe-inspiring as watching a rusty nail get hammered through a gangrenous toe. But the worst part about this race was the TV ratings. The race was watched live live on TV by about 69,000 people. That's not just bad, that's stupid. That's less than 7% of the viewership of the 2023 Long Beach Grand Prix, and shows just how badly the series had gone downhill. This race was genuinely painful to sit through. I hope to God the next race of the season in Brands Hatch is at least a little better. Speaking of which, I hope to see you for that race review in 1 week's time. Thank you for watching, and have a great afternoon.